Yogi Clan, welcome back to another vlog in my truck. I am sorry that I'm doing this in my truck again, but if you heard my last video, my water pump on the bagger died. So that said, today I'm limited to doing this vlog or this discussion in my truck. So bear with me. That said, what I want to talk to you about today is two different types of riders. This is again words of Yogi, something I've cooked up in my head that I wanted to get your thoughts on. There are two types of riders. Number one, those who are bike flippers, and two, those who are bike keepers. I know, sounds kind of odd, right? Well, stay tuned and we'll talk about it. If you are new here to Yogi Cycle Service, I thank you for joining. I am Yogi, your host in my truck. Truck talk here. And here at Yogi Cycle Service, we fix motorcycles, give you tips, tricks, how-tos, try to show you, hey, here's where you can buy some parts and save some money. Here's how to pinch a penny, do things yourself, and empower you. What? Road closed. Oh, no, left turn. Okay. And empower you to do this work yourself and save you a few dollars. If you like this video, I ask you to mash on the thumbs up, surf around, check out some of my other videos. If you like what you see, hey man, give your brother some love. Hit that subscribe button, will ya? If you're a returning subscriber, I thank you for coming back and listening to this video. And I hope you get something from it. And if so, leave some comments down below. Give me some food for thought. But two types of riders, the flippers and the keepers. Why do I say this? I'm going to speak on the side of the bike keeper. We'll talk about the flippers first. My good buddy Sideshow, he's a bike flipper. That boy has been through more bikes since I met him 3 years ago, 3.5, maybe even close to 4 years ago. Then he's been through more bikes in that time period than I probably have I know I have in my entire lifetime. But that's what we're going to talk about. He flips. He's a flipper. He's a bike flipper. He buys them, rides them for 6 months a year, and time to change the oil. Let's sell it and get a new one. Time to change the tires. Let's sell it and get a new one. That's what he does. And you know what? For him, it works. He likes it. He gets new bikes. He has fun. He enjoys it. And generally, I haven't seen him lose money because he doesn't buy bikes new. He'll buy them used. So he'll buy them at a good deal. And at a bare minimum, sell them for what he's got into them. And he's put, 10, 15,000 miles on them. Maybe not even that much. And that's what he likes. And that's what works for him. And that's fine. And this whole idea of this buyer or flippers versus keepers came out of a good friend of mine in California. And he bought this used Victory and he went on a long run with it, or a fairly good run with it. And he found out that, hey, it's a used bike and this bike has a few problems. To which then he says to me, I got buyer's remorse. Man, I want to sell this bike. I don't want to have to deal with it. The way I view a bike, we're going to talk about the keeper side now, because this is where my experience is, and this is how I view a bike. The bike, when you buy the bike, be it new or used, that is your pallet. That is the foundation of the house that you're going to build upon it. So just because you see this does not mean that and this goes for a Harley. And hence why I released a video not too long ago about customizing a Goldwing, because I thought, you buy the Goldwing and that's your base white pallet. Now it's up to you to put color on that pallet and make that pallet yours. Make that painting yours. Make that bike yours. That's what I love doing. I have done 100% of the work pretty much to Miss Piggy. I've had a few things where I've had help along the way, but pretty much everything I've done to Miss Piggy is, all of what my vision was for that bike. And I'm doing the same thing with the Ultra. Although a lot of the stock features of the Ultra, I really like them for how they are, so I'm going to keep them until they break. When they break, then I'll replace them with something different, because I'm a keeper. I'm not a flipper. So that is also a downside. So upside, you get to make that bike you. You get to make it personal to you. I promised Miss Piggy I would never sell her. I don't care how much I'm offered, I will never sell that bike. I'll ride it to the grave. If the engine dies, I'll put a new one in it. If the wheels fall off, I'll put new ones on it. My kids can have it after I'm dust in the wind. I mean, that's my point. And that's exactly it. If the engine dies, I'll put a new one in it. The benefit to a keeper style is you don't have bike payments. There are no bike payments. A downside is It's probably going to have more miles than a new bike. It's not going to have all the bells and whistles of a new bike. And some of those bells and whistles that you do have may break. And when they break, you got to fix them. That's a downside. And just like my buddy buying his bike used, I'm like, dude, it'd be so much cheaper just to put a new shock in that bike if that's your problem, and then keep on riding it. You bought it for that purpose. Why would you turn and flip it because you got buyer's remorse because it had a bad shock in it? And if you're going to buy a used bike, expect there to be a reason why the seller is selling it. Unless, he bought a new bike just because he wanted a new bike. There may be nothing wrong with it, but there may be something wrong with it. You are potentially inheriting somebody else's problems. That's the downside to it. If you're buying a used bike, you may inherit somebody's problems. Or if you're a buyer, a buy and hold, a buy and keep, eventually that bike, they can't run forever, right? Just like this weekend, my Ultra, the water pump went out on it. It's got 70-some thousand miles. This is really the first major problem that's at, which is probably going to be $250 plus fluid. But you know what? That's just one out of 12 monthly payments for a brand new bike. So I'm a buy and hold type person. So drawbacks are maintenance is required. You don't have a warranty anymore because, you've bought it, you've paid it off. You're probably out of the warranty period. So, positive side to flipping bikes, if you buy them new, you'll still be covered on a warranty. But if you're a bike flipper who still buys bikes used and you're a flipper, you're not getting a warranty anyways, right? Like my buddy Sideshow, he's not getting a warranty on any of his bikes because he's buying his bikes, maybe 5 to 7 years old, 10,000 miles on them, buying them from dirt cheap, riding them, selling them. So he has to inherit whatever problems they come with. For me, the passion is riding motorcycles. It's kind of like a cowboy with his horse. I have to imagine there were flipper cowboys and there were holder cowboys. There were cowboys who probably fell in love with their horse and always stayed with the same horse until the horse could not produce what the cowboy needed, right? And there was a relationship between the two. For me, it's the same thing with my motorcycle. There's a relationship between me and my motorcycle. I know when she's happy and when she's not. I know when a problem is probably coming on the horizon down the road just by the way it sounds, by the way it feels, by the way it handles. I can tell when there's a problem coming down the road and by looking and visually inspecting. And that's why I'm such a stickler for cleaning your bike, because when you clean your bike, you find loose parts, you find problems. So keeping a bike clean helps you develop that relationship. And when you develop that relationship with your bike, it's much easier to head off problems before they become major problems. That's part of what you got to do as a buy and hold motorcycle person. As a flipper, you don't care. You sell it. And hey, man, if that makes you happy, but for me, that's a lot of fees to the DMV I just don't want to pay. Pay to register and title a bike all the time, man, that's expensive. I don't got that kind of money. So I'm a buy and hold type person. But that's how I figured out there are two different types of people who ride motorcycles, the flippers and the keepers. I fall into the keeper category. So I've had the Big Bertha now for probably 5 years. And she has a little over 70,000 miles on it. I'm sure someday I'll trade it in, but I don't see that day happening anytime soon. So I hope that makes sense to you. I hope you enjoyed that. What do you fall in? Are you a flipper or are you a keeper? If you are a flipper, why? If you're a keeper, why? Put that in the comments below. And I will catch you on the next video. Yogi Clan. Peace.